tragic life of Andre the Giant. He was capable of superhuman feats, but it was this very ability that led to his downfall. Andre wasn't called a giant for nothing. While a beer can looks like this in the hand of an average person, in Andre's hand, it looked like this. Since he was much bigger than a normal person, he could also drink much more. In an interview, Andre said he could drink over 120 cans of beer in one sitting. This made him a popular guest on various shows, and in one of them, the host wanted to compare his hand with Andre's. Andre's hand was so large that it made the host's hand look like a child's and was even bigger than his head. But the giant wasn't just tall. The wrestler possessed superhuman strength. Like that day when he broke an iron bar using only brute force and then lifted almost 2,000 pounds as if it were nothing. In another instance, he beat 11 men in a strength display. They couldn't even budge Andre. The guy was so strong he could lift 4 models effortlessly. But trust me, being that big isn't as great as it seems. Actually, Andre himself said he'd pay a fortune just to spend a weekend at normal height, and the reason for that is quite sad. You see, Andre's superhuman strength came from a condition known as gigantism. His body grew in an unusual way, so by the time he was 12 years old, he was already over 6 feet tall and weighed more than 200 pounds. That led to a lot of humiliation from his peers, and he was even called a monster by people in his town. There came a point where he just couldn't take it anymore, so he left home. At 16, he dove into the world of professional wrestling, where he quickly became a star. Eventually, he became the biggest name in WWE in the 70s, but despite finding a way to make money with his height, he remained unhappy. Gigantism never left him in peace. At the peak of his career, he was already over 8 feet tall and weighed over 500 pounds. To make matters worse, his condition also caused him extreme joint and bone pain, along with other health issues. Despite his immense success at his peak, all the fame started messing with his head, and Andre began developing various mental problems. That's why, despite the fame and money, Andre said he would trade it all for a regular life. In the 80s, a new opportunity arose for Andre, the role of Fezzik in the movie The Princess Bride. His captivating performance and gentle personality won over the audience and the film crew. He wasn't just a giant in physical size, but also a giant in terms of humanity and heart. His castmates remember him as a true gentle giant who was always willing to help everyone. Unfortunately, after this movie, Andre's health deteriorated rapidly, making his last years a constant battle against unbearable pain. Until on January 27, 1993, his body couldn't take it anymore, and his heart finally gave out. Andre was only 46 years old. His wish was to be cremated and have his ashes spread on his ranch in North Carolina. The problem was that no crematorium in France could handle his size, so his closest friends took his body to the United States, where he was cremated, and finally, they were able to honor his wish. Andre left behind a legacy that goes far beyond wrestling. He wasn't just one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, but also a man with a giant heart. His life was an extraordinary journey of strength, pain, and overcoming. And in the end, Andre's story makes it clear that height or strength isn't the most important thing, because it was the greatness of his spirit that truly made Andre the Giant an unforgettable legend.